Now, with global discussions at the World Economic Forum cantering on the future of work, educational institution IFundi says South Africa must urgently address the skills gap to remain competitive in the age of AI and the fourth industrial revolution. Well, joining us to discuss this is CEO of IFundi and founder of the inaugural Job Summit, Stefan Lauder. Stefan, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So South Africa is facing a dual challenge, high unemployment rate, but also a rapidly evolving job space. How does South Africa go about addressing this dual challenge?
About 25% of all jobs that we have today, worldwide, not just in South Africa, will be eliminated. The good news is the same number of jobs will be replaced by new jobs. So what is the difference between the old job and the new job is the knowledge level. So for example, the new jobs will be about cybersecurity, about AI, data analytics, etc. So these are not semi-skilled jobs, they're rather advanced jobs. So the challenge we are facing in South Africa, given also the state of our current education system, is how can we help young people transition in the future of work? But the same challenge is also for experienced worker. Some jobs that we know today will disappear. So the question we need to ask ourselves, how can we take our employees and prepare them for tomorrow? Not only in terms of the job security, not only in terms of unemployment consideration for social justice, I would say.
I must say that it's quite heartening, because when you started off in saying that the current jobs, most of them will become redundant, but you said there will be an opportunity for new jobs. Because
almost the same.
I was expecting that you would say there would now be a move to automation and robots, but you're saying there is an opportunity for new jobs, but highly skilled. So at least that deals with the anxiety that many had, that there'll be fewer jobs. You're saying, no, there will be enough jobs, but highly skilled.
There will be,
so
yes.
What does government need to do in this respect? Because we cannot stop the technological advancements. We have to move with them. Does it mean an overhaul of the education system, or perhaps reskilling those that are currently in the workforce?
I think all of what you said. The jobs of the future require good logical skills, often mathematical skills. So we need to really have an education system that develops our people holistically, in terms of logical thinking, but also in terms of problem solving, creative skills, decision making, and all that kind. We call them in one word soft skills. Okay, so not only do we need to teach people the geography, what is the capital of such and such country, in what year did what war end. Okay, these type of questions, as interesting they are, they're not necessarily relevant for today's world of work. So we need to overhaul the curriculum. I think we need to capacitate our teachers, but also just want to mention a study that inspired me a lot. I saw it this week in Nigeria, done by the World Bank. In a deep rural area, in a disadvantaged area, they used the AI tutor,
Okay.
and the results were stunning. The school results, the knowledge levels improved dramatically.
So there's
in a fast
absolutely
time.
no human element insofar as the teaching aspect of things.
Well, there's a tutor available when you say, I don't understand this topic, please help me.
Yeah.
Or it will tell, can you help me prepare for the exam? It's a tutor, okay? And the results were amazing. Particularly, girls did better. So what does have to do with the social development? I do believe AI, in as much as it can be a threat, it can be an uplifting force to bring better education, better, a more easily accessible knowledge. So for example, my personal example is I today have one of the best marketing experts in the world working for me.
Okay.
You know who's that? ChatGPT. I would never have personally that knowledge base.
Yeah.
That I feel much more empowered because of ChatGPT. It's not just Stefan. I think every worker out there, everybody, every student.
But does it not create passive learners? Because this concept also applies to perhaps people who would opt for a documentary, which is great information, versus perhaps reading the history. Because one would say there's an element that is also stimulated in your brain when you read, where you are more active, you're actively involved, you're also creating the images yourself, versus audio, where perhaps you'd be driving and listening to an audio book.
that debate with my wife all the time, okay?
Yes.
I'm an enormous fan of AI, and she talks like you, okay?
Yes. I'm on her side, honestly,
Okay,
even with my children.
For example, what is my best teacher? It's WhatsApp. On top of the WhatsApp bar, there is where you can ask questions and then submit it. It goes into AI. So when I have, so for example, in preparation for this interview, I just entered the question to say, what was the outcome of the World Economic Forum?
Yeah.
In 2-3 paragraphs, I get the knowledge. Okay? So constantly in my day-to-day work, I'm using those tools to enrich myself. I used to have minimal knowledge of IT.
Yeah.
Okay? But today, with the help of those tools, I can do amazing work. So I'm aware of people like you, because my wife always fills my ears. She says, Stefan, you can't be dogmatic about those things.
Yes.
Okay? I agree, there are limitations. People often talk about ethical risk, okay?
Yeah.
There are many challenges
with essays and exams. We've spoken about this extensively.
IFundi is an educational institution. I say we do not, just like Uber disrupted transport, Airbnb disrupted hospitality. AI, that means ChatGPT, Gemini, all those tools are going to disrupt.
And now we hear of
education. DeepSeek, okay? So I want to say is it's going to disrupt education. So the need, therefore, is whether it's for government, an educational provider like IFundi, or another university. So we need to go with the times. We need to adapt those tools. So, for example, for me personally, the biggest challenge is assessment, you say. Today, ChatGPT can pass the Harvard Law exam. So in other words, multiple choice question essays are dead. So then we need to ask ourselves, what's the alternative? And I like to say one thing, contrary to what most people say, I'm a great fan of the South African education system. That is the QCT environment, the CETA environment. Why am I a fan of them? It's all about applied learning. It's about the development of skills. It's about workplace learning, okay? In the job, on the job. So all this kind of, I do believe that our CETA SACWA system, okay, has a great foundation to be able to cope in the age of AI, because it's not about rote learning. It's not about memorization. It's not about writing tests. It's about being able to demonstrate.
So at an elementary level, though, do you think we would have the necessary funds to introduce AI or 4IR to ensure that 4IR is aligned, or at least its demands are aligned with the education system?
Yes, I think, to be frank with you, IFundi has developed its own tutoring system. We have our own mentoring system. We have our own career advisor. We have our own material developer. We're a small organization. We're not operating on multi-million research budgets, okay? So AI can be tweaked. AI can be applied. And obviously, I think government has to come to the party. And not only government, also every organization. I think there is still the readiness of organizations, large institutions, for AI is only in the beginning stages. So government now has to move apace, and most importantly, the message I'm getting from you is that now we all have to embrace that state of constantly learning, because right 100%. Now, all our jobs could possibly be 100%. At risk. I would say only one word. What is the future of learning? Curiosity. All right, Stefan, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you. Very informative conversation. That's CEO of IFundi and founder of the inaugural Job Summit, Stefan Lauder, there speaking to us about the need for government to move apace in addressing the skills gap, lest we be left behind with the wake or advent of AI, DeepSeek, and the 4IR.